Hi guys, welcome to this Moneycontrol live stream. You're watching Newspresso with me, Nandita, Khemka. In the next few minutes, we're going to give you a lowdown on all the top stories from around the globe, insights from India, and also the latest trends, giving you an edge and keeping you informed ahead of others. So let's get straight to it and bring you all that we are getting from our global dispatch. Well, tech stocks were the highlight in yesterday's session on Wall Street, with the Nasdaq composite jumping over 1%. On pace for its biggest one-day advance since July 28th. The S&P 500 gained 0.4%, while the Dow managed to end in the red, down by about 92 points or thereabouts. Palo Alto Networks rallied 15% on stronger than expected earnings, and Nvidia popped 6% ahead of its earnings report that is due on Wednesday. Well, Tesla and Meta climbed somewhere around 6% and 2% respectively. These moves came even as the benchmark 10-year Treasury yield hit a high of 4.34%. That's the highest level in 16 years. Investors are now closely keeping an eye out for the Fed Chair Jerome Powell's address at Central Bank's annual symposium at Jackson Hole for further direction to the markets. That will be, of course, happening between August 24th to August 26th. European markets closed marginally higher on Monday after slipping to a 6-week low at the end of last week. Now, Stock 600 index ended just about 0.1% higher, but major bourses pointed in opposite directions. Investors were also closely monitoring all the actions across China as the central bank there cut its one-year prime loan rate by less than expected on Monday and left its 5-year rate unchanged. Well, in other macro data from the region, Germany's central bank said that the country's inflation rate is likely to stay above 2% for longer. Headline inflation fell slightly to 6.5% in July, down from 6.8% the previous month, while core inflation rose to 6.2%. And let's also take a look at the Asian markets. They are largely higher, even as US 10-year yield have hit its highest level in 16 years. Japan's Nikkei has climbed nearly 1%. Overnight, SoftBank Group's chip unit Arm filed for a Nasdaq listing that is expected to be the largest of the year. Meanwhile, in South Korea, Kospi has also gained somewhere around 0.7%. However, the Australian index is extending losses from Monday and is sliding down marginally. Hong Kong's Hang Seng rebounded from a 7-day losing streak, while Chinese markets are also edging up in early trade. GIFT Nifty, however, is hinting at a lower start for the Indian market. Well, Arm, the chip maker owned by Japan's SoftBank, filed for a Nasdaq listing on Monday, positioning itself to go public during a historically slow period for tech IPOs. Now, the UK-based company filed confidentially for a listing in the US earlier this year after previously announcing it would go public in the US over the UK, preferring Wall Street over the London Stock Exchange. SoftBank originally sought to sell Arm to chip giant Nvidia, but the deal faced major pushback from regulators who raised concerns over competition and national security. Now, SoftBank finally took Arm private in 2016 in a deal valued at $32 billion. Now, Hurricane Hillary has made landfall yesterday in the northern part of Mexico's Baja California peninsula. Now, due to the hurricane, over 1,900 people were evacuated to shelters as per the country's army. Now, the National Weather Service of Las Vegas issued flash flood warnings for numerous areas in the vicinity of Las Vegas. The hurricane has caused power outages, mudslides, strong winds and isolated tornadoes. Now, weather forecasters noted that Hillary is the first tropical storm to hit Southern California in 84 years. Now, meteorologists anticipate that Hillary could rank among the most rain-laden tropical cyclones recorded, affecting western states like Nevada, Oregon, and Idaho. Now, former US President Donald Trump has said that he would skip the upcoming Republican primary debates, citing his large lead in opinion polls as evidence that he has already, he was already well known and liked by voters ahead of the 2024 election. Now, Trump is likely to pass on Wednesday night's debate in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, arguing that it did not make sense for him to give his Republican rivals a chance to attack him, given his sizable lead in the national polls. Trump put out a post on his social media app, and I quote, "The public knows who I am and what a successful presidency I had. I will therefore not be doing the debates." Remember, Trump has a Friday deadline to voluntarily surrender in the Fulton County, Georgia, after being charged last week in a fourth criminal indictment for an alleged scheme intended to reverse his 2020 election loss to Biden. Some insights from India then. A quick recap of how markets in India performed yesterday. The Nifty 50 index managed to sustain higher grounds throughout the session and eventually ended just about closer to that 19,400 mark, snapping out of its two-day losses. Now the Nifty 50 coming close to reclaim that 19,400 level as I mentioned. Sensex also gained over 250 points. The broad-based buying has certainly uplifted the broader sentiments, the IT and metal sector being the primary benefactor to rejuvenate the market sentiment. We also saw the Bank Nifty gaining for the first time in last 8 sessions, up over 150 points. And among the stocks that you need to keep on your radar today, Adani Enterprises will be in focus as the promoter is raising stake. In fact, has raised stake in Adani Enterprises by 2.2%, between August 7 to August 18. Among banking stocks, look out for Union Bank of India as it has got the board approval for fundraising up to 5,000 crore rupees. Remember, the QIP rather kicked off yesterday. Now, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has departed for the BRICS Summit in Johannesburg. Earlier this morning, he shared a tweet saying that he has left for BRICS and that the summit will give the platform to discuss issues of concern for the Global South and other areas of development. South African President Cyril Ramaphosa will be hosting leaders of Brazil, Russia, China and India for the 15th BRICS Summit. The annual summit is an opportunity for nations to discuss geopolitical and economical issues. But why is the BRICS Summit important this year? Now, this is the first in-person BRICS Summit since the pandemic. Russia-Ukraine war's global impact will be on the major discussion topic, and this is also the first summit since Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva returned to power in Brazil. Over 40 countries have expressed interest in joining BRICS, so the expansion of the summit is also on the agenda. And finally, the BRICS trading in the national currencies will also be discussed. And we'll, of course, be tracking the summit and sharing all the key. We'll also, of course, be getting you all the latest details and developments made during the summit. So stay tuned with us for all that. Well, to all the cricket fans then watching the show, I'm sure that you are psyched to watch the next big event. That's the Asia Cup. Team India's 17-member squad for the Asia Cup was announced yesterday, and Chief Selector Ajit Agarkar announced the names in a press conference. The team will be led by Rohit Sharma, and Agarkar said that Rohit Sharma, Shubham Gill and Ishan Kishan are their preferred openers. KL Rahul and Shreyas Iyer were among those who were named in the 17-member squad, while Chahal has been dropped for Asia Cup. Asia Cup will begin on the 30th of August. Pakistan and Sri Lanka will co-host the tournament. Well, while we are talking about, let's talk about Mark Zuckerberg then. Zuckerberg and Musk have been making headlines due to the cage match. A lot has transpired over their cage match, and we have also wondering what this cage match even happened. Zuckerberg on Threads said Elon isn't serious and it's time to move on. I offered a date. Dana White offered to make this a legit competition for charity. Elon, in fact, won't confirm a date, then says he needs surgery and now asks to do a practice round in my background instead. But as far as Musk's side goes, he has been posting updates on X.com about the cage fight and his practice. On the other hand, you also have Italy's culture minister who says that he has spoken to Musk about hosting a large charitable and historically evocative event, but said it would not take place in Rome. But there seems to be one person who is opposed to seeing this Musk-Zuckerberg fight, and that is Musk's mother, who posted, "Don't encourage this match." Meanwhile, there is no rage date for the cage match is out yet. So when will it be? Or will there be a cage match at all? I think you and I just need to wait and watch, and time will tell whether this will happen or not. Well, moving on to all that you need to know, in fact, look forward to for today. In a groundbreaking move to prioritize road safety, the Ministry of Road Transport and Highways in India is all set to launch the Bharat New Car Assessment Program, or Bharat NCAP, today. Now, the India-specific program comes into effect on October 1st. It will evaluate vehicle safety through crash tests and assign star ratings to encourage safer cars and competition among manufacturers in India. Now, in the primary market, the initial public offering of Aeroflex Industries will open for subscription today, and the price band has been set at 102 to 108 rupees per share. We will be, of course, watching out for that. And, when it comes to the world of sports, Indian Grandmaster R. Pragananda will clash with world number 1 Magnus Carlsen of Norway at the FIDE World Cup Chess Tournament Finals. Now, he will take on 5 times. The winner, Carlsen, becomes the 3rd youngest player after the legendary Bobby Fischer and Carlsen to qualify for the Candidates Tournament. Well, with that, we've come to the end of this show. Hope this dose of Newspresso was useful and informative and gives you a kickstart to the day ahead. Don't in fact forget to come back tomorrow and get your fresh shot of Newspresso. But for now, it's a goodbye from me. Stay tuned because coming up next is Morning Trade.
How do world leaders view India?
I've long believed that the relationship between the United States and India is will be one of the defining relationships of the 21st century.
The bright spot of the global economy.
The growth rate for India, which is 6.8 in 2022. Let's not forget, this is one of the bright spots in the global economy right now, such a high growth rate.
The potential of India is enormous, and you have now a reformer, a radical reformer, who has the ability to transform it.
On the verge of a big transformation.
इस अमृत काल में हमारे संकल्पों की सिद्धि हमें आजादी के 100 वर्ष तक ले जाएगी.
A magnet for investment.
I'm actually incredibly excited about the future of India. I think India has more promise than any large country in the world.
The world is bullish on India. Moneycontrol is bullish on India. Join the campaign. Tweet to us with #MC Bullish on India.